Welcome to the Thea Lee Podcast. Today is February 18th, 2026, and we are on day 49 of reading through the Bible. We start out today with some further instructions about the guilt offerings, and the Lord lets Moses know animals sacrificed as guilt offerings are slaughtered at the same place where burnt offerings are slaughtered. Any male from the priest's family may eat the meat, and it must be eaten in a sacred place, for it is most holy. The same instructions apply to both the guilt offerings and the sin offerings. Both belong to the priest who uses them to purify someone, making that person right with the Lord. So in the case of the burnt offering, the priest may also keep the hide of the sacrificed animal. Any grain offering that has been baked in an oven, prepared in a pan, or cooked on a griddle belongs to the priest who presents it, and all other grain offerings, whether it's dry flour or flour moistened with olive oil, are shared equally among all the priests, the descendants of Aaron. Then we get more instructions on the peace offerings, because there are different kinds of peace offerings. If you present your peace offering as an expression of thanksgiving, the animal sacrificed must be accompanied by various kinds of bread made without yeast, thin cakes mixed with olive oil, wafers spread with oil, and cakes made of choice flour mixed with olive oil. This peace offering of thanksgiving must also be accompanied by loaves of bread made with yeast. One kind of each bread should be presented as a gift to the Lord. It will then belong to the priest who spatters the blood of the peace offering against the altar. Then the meat of the peace offering of thanksgiving must be eaten the same day it's offered. None can be saved for the next morning. If you bring a peace offering to fulfill a vow, or as a voluntary offering, the meat must be eaten on the same day as the sacrifice is offered, but whatever is left over may be eaten on the second day. However, not on the third day. The third day it must be completely burned up. If any meat from the peace offering is eaten on the third day, then the person who presented it will not be accepted by the Lord, so they will receive no credit for offering it. By then the meat will be contaminated, and if they eat it, they will be punished for their sin. And then it says that meat touches anything ceremonially unclean may not be eaten. It must be completely burned up, but the rest of the meat can be eaten, but only by people who are ceremonially clean. If you're ceremonially unclean and you eat meat from a peace offering that was presented to the Lord, you're cut off from the community. And if you touch anything that's unclean and then eat meat from a peace offering presented to the Lord, then you are to be cut off from the community also. Then God tells them to never eat the fat from cattle, sheep, or goats. If there is fat from an animal that's found dead or torn to pieces by wild animals, it must never be eaten, but it can be used for other purposes. Anyone who eats fat from an animal presented as a special gift to the Lord will be cut off from the community, and no matter where you live, you should never consume the blood of a bird or an animal. If anybody does that, they are cut off from the community also. Then the Lord gives more instructions about the portion for the priests. That when you present a peace offering to the Lord, bring part of it as a gift to the Lord. You present it to the Lord with your own hands as a special gift. Bring the fat of the animal along with the breast and lift the breast up as a special offering to the Lord. Then the priest will burn the fat on the altar, and the breast will belong to Aaron and his descendants. Then you give the right thigh of your peace offering to the priest as a gift also. The right thigh must always be given to the priest who offers the blood and the fat for the peace offering, for he's reserved the breasts of the special offering and the right thigh of the sacred offering for the priests. That's a permanent right of Aaron and his descendants to share in the peace offerings brought by the people of Israel. It is their rightful share. Then the special gifts presented to the Lord have been reserved for Aaron and his descendants from time they are set apart to serve the Lord as priests. On the day that they're anointed, the Lord commanded that Israelites give to them these portions to the priests as their permanent share from generation to generation. Then the Lord tells Moses to ordinate all of the priests, Aaron and his sons. So Moses calls together all the community of Israel at the entrance of the tabernacle. He brings Aaron and his sons, along with their sacred garments, anointing oil, the bull for the sin offering, and 2 rams, and the basket of bread made without yeast. So Moses follows all the Lord's instructions here. He washes Aaron and his sons with water. Then he dresses Aaron in his official tunic, tied with the sash around his waist, and then the robe. He places the ephod on him, and then the chest piece, and puts the Urim and the Thummim inside it. And then he places the turban on Aaron's head, along with the gold medallion, the badge of holiness, to the front of the turban, just like the Lord had commanded. Then he took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and everything in it, making it holy. He sprinkled the oil on the altar 7 times, anointing it and its utensils, as well as the wash basin and the stand, making them holy. He poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head, anointing him and making him holy for his work. Then Moses presented Aaron's sons, and he clothed them in their tunics and tied their sashes around them and put on their special head coverings, just like God had said. Moses presented the bull for the sin offering, so Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the bull's head, and Moses slaughtered it. He took some of the blood, and with his finger he put it on the four horns of the altar to purify it, and then he poured out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar, and this process made the altar holy by purifying it. Then Moses took all the fat around the internal organs, the long lobe of the liver, the 2 kidneys, and the fat around them, and he burned that on the altar. He took the rest of the bull, including its hide, meat, and dung, and burned it outside the camp on a fire, as the Lord had commanded. Then Moses presented the ram for the burnt offering. Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the ram's head, and Moses slaughtered it. He took the ram's blood and splattered it against the sides of the altar, cut the ram into pieces, and burned its head, some of its pieces, and the fat on the altar, and then washed the internal organs and legs with water, and burned that on the altar as well. It was a pleasing aroma, a special gift to the Lord. Then Moses presented the other ram, which was the ram of ordination. So Aaron and his sons laid their hands on that ram's head, and Moses slaughtered it and took some of its blood and applied it to the lobe of Aaron's right ear, the thumb of his right hand, and the big toe of his right foot. Then he presented Aaron's sons and did the same with them. And then he splattered the rest of the blood against all the sides of the altar. Then Moses took the fat, including the fat of the broad tail, the fat around the internal organs, the long lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys and the fat around them, along with the right thigh. On top of those, he placed a thin cake of bread made without yeast, a cake of bread mixed with olive oil, the wafer spread with olive oil, and all these were taken from the basket of bread made without yeast that was placed in the Lord's presence. He put all of these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and he lifted them up as a special offering to the Lord. And then Moses took all these offerings back from them and burned them on the altar on top of the burnt offering. And this was the ordination offering, a pleasing aroma, a special gift presented to the Lord. Then Moses took the breast and lifted it up as a special offering to the Lord. This was Moses' portion of the ram ordination, just as the Lord had commanded him. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood that was on the altar, and he sprinkled them on Aaron and his garments, and his sons and their garments. And in this way he made Aaron and his sons and their garments holy. Then Moses told Aaron and his sons to boil the remaining meat of the offerings at the tabernacle entrance and eat it there, along with the bread that is in the basket of offerings for the ordination, just as I commanded when I said Aaron and his sons will eat it. Any meat or bread that is left over must be burned up, and you must not leave the tabernacle entrance for 7 days, for that is when the ordination ceremony will be completed. Everything we have done today was commanded by the Lord in order to purify you, making you right with him. Now stay at the entrance of the tabernacle day and night for 7 days and do everything the Lord requires. If you fail to do this, you will die, for this is what the Lord has commanded. So Aaron and his sons did everything the Lord had commanded through Moses. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.